Okay then gang, in this lesson I want to talk a little bit about adding context to prompts, the different reasoning levels of the AI model that we can switch between, and also a nice feature which lets us turn to-dos in the code to Codex tasks. Now before we start, I just want to mention I've already switched to a new branch as normal to work on whatever feature we're about to add, just so we don't mess up the main branch. So then, let's start with adding context, which is pretty similar to how we do it in the Codex CLI, in that we can use the @ sign to start referencing a file in the project. So I could say @ and then start typing a file name, and you don't have to start typing the full path to the file, you can just start to type the name of the file if you want, and Codex will do a search of the files and show you any matches. For example, I'm going to type page, and Codex would show me all the files called page. So I could select one of those to add it to the context of my next prompt. Now there's also another way to add files as context, and that is to click this plus icon down at the bottom of the chat and search for files that way. So I could start typing page, and again we'll see all the matching files in the project which we can select from. Now you can also add images as context by clicking on the add image button down here, and that's going to let you search your computer for them and add them in. And you can also copy and paste images into the chat as well, which is really nice. For example, I've got this screenshot that I took of a 3D button I just Google searched, and I'm going to copy that image and then just paste it into the chat. When I do that, you should see that little preview of the image up here. Then I'm going to write the following prompt. Can you update at button.tsx, and we're using the @ sign to add that button component to the context, and then we'll carry on and say to have a 3D bevel effect like in this image. Okay, so hopefully when we send this, Codex is going to look at the image that we pasted in and apply a similar effect to our buttons. So I'm going to fire this off, but I'll also speed up the video now while Codex does its work, and then I'm going to slow it down again when it's complete. Alright, so it's done and it's updated these two files right here. We can actually view all the changes by clicking on this, and it shows us a little diff right here. So if we expand this and scroll down, we can see there's been quite a lot of CSS added. We've got a button bevel class now. And if we scroll right down, you can see it's also updated the button.tsx file. It virtually rewrote the whole thing. So what I'm going to do now is close this and just preview this in the browser. Alright, so let's head to the form, which is where this button component was rendered, and scroll down, and yeah, it looks okay. I can see the 3D effect at the bottom. I would probably do this differently, probably the colours, and make that a dark green instead of a grey. But you know what, it's got the general idea, and maybe I'd just go back and prompt again and say, can you update this and that, and it would look better. Okay, so that's adding context to prompts, and next up I want to quickly talk about the different reasoning effort levels that we can choose from. So you can find these levels in this menu down here, and by default the reasoning level is set to medium, which is what I've been keeping it on for most of the time. But you can also dial this down or crank it up, and the lower the reasoning, the faster the model works, and we get results quicker because Codex spends less time thinking and planning about what it's going to do. But the flip side of that is the results are sometimes less reliable, and it might miss edge cases. The highest reasoning level does more planning and more thinking, so it takes much longer to get results, and it consumes more tokens as well generally, but it also leads to more reliable results most of the time. So what level should you choose? Well, I personally think it all depends on the task you're asking Codex to run. If it's a really simple edit or refactor, the minimal or low reasoning levels might be good enough. For most tasks that are a little large in scope, you could stick with the medium level. And for much more complex tasks, which require a lot of thought and planning, definitely crank it up to high. And again, generally speaking, the higher the reasoning level, the more tokens it will consume. So for simple tasks, definitely don't be selecting the high reasoning effort level. I'm going to keep it on medium, which is what I've found to be a decent balance for most tasks I run. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to show you in this lesson, and it's a nice little feature that Codex added to the extension, and that is to turn to-do comments in the code into tasks that Codex can work on. So it might be that you're fleshing out your application and you leave little to-do comments in your code in different places to remind you to come back and do certain things later. For example, if I open up the homepage component of this application, I already have a to-do in here which says to-do, add a recent pairs section here. And now I've installed the Codex extension, I can see this option above the to-do which says implement with Codex. So I can just click on this text to fire off a new local task where Codex works on this to-do for me. Now when I do that, Codex automatically starts up a new chat session with a prompt that incorporates the to-do in the code. And it tells Codex to replace the comment with the implementation of this task. So then I'm going to let Codex run through this and I'll speed up the video until it's done. Alright, so now that's finished and we can see all the changes directly here in the page. All this big green line is where Codex has added new lines of code. So this is the section right here. And these are the objects that we're going to be mapping through down here to output a bit of template for each one, for each pair. So it all looks okay to me, but let's see what it looks like in a browser. So let's scroll down a little bit. We've got the popular pairs, which was already there. Then this new section, the recent pairs, which looks almost identical, but with a different background. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So then, that is a nice little extra feature that Codex throws into the mix because it means we can now add to-dos into the code manually as we code, which Codex can then pick up at a later time if you don't want to work on those right away. And again, as I keep mentioning in this course, now we've added a new feature, it might be a good time to make commits or push changes up to GitHub if we're happy. And I keep going on about pushing changes to GitHub for two reasons. First, I think version control is absolutely essential when we're working with AI because without it, any AI coding agent can wreck your code base very quickly. And second, because when you're working with Codex Cloud, it relies on you having an up-to-date GitHub repository so it can run tasks on it remotely. Anyway, I'm going to commit and push all those changes after this video, and in the next lesson, we'll talk a little bit about MCP servers.